Joining me now to weigh in, Congressman from Texas, Jake Ellzey, and Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter. Gentlemen, welcome. Congressman Ellzey, we'll begin with you. Before we get to the unconstitutional mandates, update us on what's happening with the socialists and this historically long vote.
Well, the vote this morning was for 7.5 hours to adjourn. The reason for that is the Democrats are in disarray. And that is the longest vote in U.S. House history by 4.5 hours. These are supposed to be 15-minute votes, and we started at 8:10 local time, and it took them just about 7 hours. And right now, we're on a 15-minute vote that still continues for a resolution that says if it doesn't, if it passes, we won't worry about the fact that the CBO hasn't even done a budget on unfunded mandates on the BBB. So they are in complete disarray. The speaker is in talks with the Progressive Caucus right now. They don't know what's going on right now, and my hope is this thing falls under its own weight like a house of cards should.
Yeah, Pelosi's on record, folks, of opposing voting on something unless the CBO has actually scored it. But this is exactly what she, of course, a massive hypocrite. Congressman Carter, the China virus mandates were meant to change the subject from the Democrats' losses on Election Day. Still, no law has been passed to implement these mandates. Tell me this. Do the unelected bureaucrats at OSHA have the statutory authority to fine businesses if they don't force their employees to get medical procedures?
No, they do not. This is unconstitutional. But more importantly, it's un-American. I mean, this is nothing more than the Democrats wanting to control our people. And we cannot allow this happen. Our civil liberties are at risk here. We need to make sure that we fight this. And I applaud those attorney generals who are bringing up lawsuits and opposing it. Because let me tell you, the decision to get a vaccine should be between you and your doctor, between you and your pharmacist, you and your family, not between you and the government. That's not the way to do it. There is vaccine hesitancy out there. I get that. I understand that. But you can't force this upon people. Yes, it is un-American, and we should not let it happen. That's why I'm glad that we've got lawsuits coming out, people who are opposing it.
Yeah, Congressman Ellzey, I'm hearing some GOP senators, a few of them, are reportedly threatening to hold up all of Biden's judicial nominees, threatening to strip funding for OSHA and other measures. Shouldn't the Republican Party be doing everything it can to protect Americans from being ruled by permanent Washington, these unelected folks in this fourth branch of government that shouldn't have all this power and authority?
Here in the House, we held a press conference this morning saying that we would withhold any money from the Department of Labor. Look, when you're talking about OSHA and the CDC, they run this country through fiat via the president. The last time I checked, according to the Constitution, Congress passes laws and taxes. And what we have now is, because of the Administrative Procedures Act of 1948, complete executive branch takeover of the federal government. And as I have said many times before, who's behind the curtain at the White House? Because I know you've talked about this many, many times, Chris, that there's a vacancy going on somewhere. And I should also point out that Dr. Fauci did participate in gain of function for this virus in Wuhan. So now we have the fox running the hen house. He should have been fired in 1982 when he said 20% of all heterosexuals would contract HIV and AIDS. And once he was wrong on that, we should have known that this guy was going to be wrong every time he opened his mouth. And the fact that he's the fox running the hen house now controlling this whole thing when he is partially responsible for how this thing spread in the first place is absolutely unimaginable to me. And everybody should be furious about it. I know you are, and I am too.
Yeah, some of the most dishonest, corrupt people are in charge of our entire government at this point. Congressman Carter, President Biden earlier this week denying a Wall Street Journal report that he would authorize paying illegal aliens up to $450,000. The White House had to play a lot of cleanup on this. Watch.
If it saves taxpayer dollars and puts the disastrous history of the previous administration's use of zero tolerance and family separation behind us, the president is perfectly comfortable with the Department of Justice settling with the individuals and families who are currently in litigation with the U.S. government.
Okay. It's evident Mr. Biden isn't aware of what's going on in his administration. The ACLU appears to be running his administration. Don't the American voters deserve to know who the hell is in charge inside of this White House? They didn't vote for the ACLU to be running these kinds of things, but it appears to be who's making these decisions.
Well, it certainly appears to be. What we know for certain is it's not Joe Biden. What we know for certain is that the only consistency of Joe Biden is his inconsistency. He's flip-flopped on everything. Now he's flip-flopping on this. Taxpayers' money should never be used for illegal aliens. Never be used for illegal immigrants. And certainly in this case, where you're going to give them more money than we give those who are lost in battle, those who are fighting for our country, victims, 9/11 victims. This is ludicrous that we would even entertain this idea. I don't know who's running the show down there at the White House. I know Joe Biden is not, but I tell you, this is un-American what's going on here. The people of America are not going to stand for this. A message was sent last Tuesday night in Virginia and in New Jersey, and the Democrats still don't get the message. They just don't get it.
Well, that's the nature of dictatorial powers. They don't believe they're accountable to the people. I want you both to answer. Give me 60 seconds each, would you, on this? Congressman Ellzey, we'll begin with you. Every illegal alien who has committed a crime in this country, like rape or murder, was able to commit that crime because the U.S. government failed in its duty to our people. Are victims of illegal alien crime entitled to payouts, just like Biden claims illegal aliens are entitled to payouts? Your thoughts, sir?
First of all, none of this makes any sense. If you, as we are coming up on Veterans Day, if you are a service member killed in the line of duty or in combat, your family will receive $400,000. $400,000 for giving your life for this country. And we're talking about giving $450,000 to illegal immigrants. Moreover, we're not requiring that they be vaccinated. 2 million people have come through this border. That's when you lock down the border. Try to go to any other country. Try to go to New Zealand or Australia right now. You can't get in. They have locked down their borders. So they want to penalize and give a vaccine, which, correct me if I'm wrong, polio vaccine is a vaccine that actually stops polio. This shot is much like taking Tamiflu. It shortens shortens the time that you're going to have it and the severity of it, but it also doesn't prevent COVID. All of this is turned on its head, Chris. All of it's turned on its head. I think this thing will collapse. I think these bills will collapse. This mandate will be found unconstitutional. And I applaud the attorneys general that are working on this to prevent this. Everything is on its head. What is going on right now is not a way to govern this country.
Yeah, Congressman Carter, I'm going to ask that same question that I asked to Congressman Ellzey. If Mr. Biden and the socialist Democrats in this country are going to work on payouts to illegal aliens for Donald Trump enforcing the law, shouldn't every American who's been a victim of illegal alien crime, and in essence victims of their own government's failure, shouldn't Americans who are victims of illegal alien crime also get payouts?
Absolutely, no question about it. I mean, you know, it's a double standard here. I mean, to think that illegal aliens are getting more benefits, better benefits than Americans are getting, that they're getting more treatment. I mean, we're going to fire Americans from their job because they don't get a vaccine, yet illegal immigrants come across the border all day long, unvaccinated, untested. And we're going to now, you know, 6 months ago, we were calling healthcare workers and grocery store clerks and truck drivers heroes. Now we're telling them, if you're not vaccinated, you're going to get fired. What message is that sending? It is ridiculous that this is going on here. The Biden administration is totally out of control. When we reach the point where illegal immigrants have more rights in this country than our own citizens, we are in deep trouble.
True enough. Congressman Jake Ellzey and Congressman Carter, thank you very much.